Hello and welcome to Positively United. Today, Saturday, the 24th of January, 2026. And don't know about you, but I'm so looking forward to the game tomorrow, Arsenal versus Man United. I was looking forward to it anyway, to be honest with you, even before the news just now that Liverpool have gone and lost 3-2 against Bournemouth just before I started recording this video. I told you a few videos ago that fourth place is perfectly possible for United this season. It really is. Are you confident that Liverpool are not going to blow up at any time, that aren't going to throw points away? Are you confident that City can put not City, that Chelsea can put a run together? That fourth spot at the moment is between Liverpool, Chelsea and ourselves. And I think it's entirely possible to imagine a future between now and the end of the season where we are the strongest of those three teams. Entirely possible, in my opinion. Fourth place, open for grabs, easily. My own opinion, all the stats say that Aston Villa are performing way above where they ought to be. So how about we aim for third? If you aim for a particular position, surely the thing that will happen is that you might actually probably hit the place below it or two places below it. Doesn't matter. Look, fourth or fifth is almost certainly going to be fine for us. Fourth would just be absolutely fine. And I think we've got a really good chance of getting it. So the game tomorrow against Arsenal, absolutely vital. What would you have been pleased with out of Carrick's first two games as head coach? Home to City, away at Arsenal. I'm going to say that if I'd have asked you that question a minute before the game started last week, the United City game, you'd have probably said 2 points. 2 draws, you'd have been absolutely happy with. You probably were expecting a defeat and a defeat. Well, we got a cracking win in the first game. What can we get tomorrow? A draw? A win? If we come out of the Emirates tomorrow with a draw, I'll be absolutely delighted. 4 points from those two games will be an absolutely wonderful achievement. But let's see how it goes. I'm going to come in a moment to my predicted lineup for tomorrow. But before we do, a couple of stories. I know he's gone. I know Ruben Amorim is gone. And we should let it go. Totally understand that. But when you hear stories like this, I don't know about you, but I just get more and more convinced that the right decision was made. I'm convinced that the right decision was made anyway, but this just rubs it home as far as I'm concerned. Daily Mail broke today the story that apparently last year, a new contract for Kobbie Mainoo was fully worked out. Fully agreed. Ready to go. Ruben Amorim prevented it from being signed because he wanted Kobbie Mainoo out, and he made his intentions clear not only to the player but to the rest of the group, which I presume he means the rest of the squad. Let me show you the rest. Many of his teammates, meaning Kobbie Mainoo's teammates, couldn't understand why Ruben had such an issue with Kobbie when he's such a good footballer, never moaned when he didn't play and got his head down in training. Sean Irving has put together that write-up of what's been written in the Daily Mail. Of course, now the deal looks like it's going to be signed. And Kobbie is absolutely happy to stay at Old Trafford. Quite rightly so too. So glad that Amorim's out of a club. So glad that we can move on without that negativity. Another story that's broken today is that apparently a price has been set on Carlos Baleba, around about 75 million. I don't expect United to pay 75 million for Carlos Baleba, but I do expect United to probably buy Carlos Baleba. the announcement of Casemiro not renewing his not getting a contract extension yesterday or the day before. Absolutely guarantees we'll be buying a midfielder. Elliot Anderson looks like he's absolutely dead set on Man City. So it looks like we're going to try and do what we did last summer and get Carlos Baleba in. It would make sense. I'm a little bit nervous because of his form this year. I can't pretend I'm not. But if they've been tracking him for a very long time and the stats and the eyeballs tell them that he is the man for that role, then, well, let's see how it goes, shall we? But absolutely certain that Carlos Baleba is going to be leaving Brighton at the end of the season. And if we try to do what we did last summer, we're going to get him. And you remember last summer, a figure of 100 million was being mentioned, even 120 million. If they're now asking for 75, I don't think we're going to get 75. I think it was probably going to be almost certainly exactly the same figure that we paid for Mbeumo or Cunha, around about that 60 to 65 mark, which I think would be good value for money if Baleba can rediscover his form of last season. So an interesting one there. So imagine a midfield which has got Carlos Baleba replacing Casemiro and also contains Kobbie Mainoo. That looks tasty, doesn't it? I'd be happy with that. Looks like it's going in the right direction. Let's just wait and see. So let's move to my predictions for tomorrow, the team that will play against Arsenal. What I brought up first of all is the team that played last week or started the game last week against Man City. And I would say that if I was a betting man, I'd say that Michael Carrick will probably play exactly the same team. Why would he change it? This team performed magnificently against City last week. Lemans in goal. A back four of Dalot, Maguire, Martinez and Shaw. I thought Martinez and Maguire were just magnificent against City last week. Mainoo and Casemiro was the double pivot. The attacking midfielders, Dorgu, Fernandes and Diallo. The surprise, of course, being that Dorgu got picked there instead of Cunha, who you'd probably expect to be in that position. And Mbeumo in front instead of Šeško. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if he picks exactly the same team. But how could he change it around? Well, I'm not going to predict how he's going to change it around. Michael Carrick's the professional coach. I'm not. So what I'm going to show you is what I would select tomorrow if I was Michael Carrick, if I was in his boots. So the first thing I do is, look, I'm bringing Šeško back as the centre forward. Why? Well, if you think about the way Arsenal play, their complete over-reliance on set pieces, where they use their height and their physicality to bully the opposition. And you think about what happened to us against Arsenal last season. In 2 games, we were bullied at set pieces and corners and let goals in because we didn't protect our goalkeeper last time, remember? So I think in order to counter that, I think Šeško, with his height and his physicality, would be a really, really good choice. Also, of course, could act as a more traditional target man in front than Mbeumo. Does that mean I'm leaving Mbeumo out? Well, of course not, because his performance like last week was just superb. So I'm afraid it's, for me, Diallo gets dropped. He doesn't start tomorrow for me. Mbeumo plays in that position. It is tough on Diallo. He played wonderfully last week, but do you know what? If there's one player I think needs to make way because of Arsenal's physicality, it's Diallo. I'm not saying he's not going to play at all, but for me, he wouldn't start the game. I'd bring him on as a sub. I'd certainly bring him on as a sub in the last 20 minutes of the game when the game's getting stretched, and I think he could really get in behind Arsenal's defence. So he doesn't start for me, but he would definitely come on as a substitute. Obviously, Fernandes stays in a number 10 position. But for me, Dorgu comes out of that left-hand position and Cunha comes in. I think Cunha could be absolutely vital tomorrow. Remember how he played in the away game at Anfield against Liverpool? Those final 20 minutes, he was absolutely magnificent. He was the outball every time for us. We were under so much pressure in those final 20 minutes, but he was the man who absolutely allowed us to relieve that pressure from time to time. And I just thought he held the ball and he ran at Liverpool defenders superbly in that game. So I put Cunha on the left-hand side now. Poor Dorgu. Does that mean Dorgu gets left out after a magnificent performance last week? No. I'm going to drop Shaw. If I can actually get him to the substitutes bench. And for me, Dorgu comes in as my left back. Shaw didn't perform badly last week, but he wasn't one of our better performers. Dorgu was superb. Dorgu doesn't deserve to get relegated to the bench, so I play Dorgu as a left back. He's perfectly comfortable playing there. And we know that in Michael Carrick's formation, he likes to push one of the fullbacks right up the pitch and then draw the other fullback into a more central position to give it a kind of a back three. So it gives Dorgu plenty of license to run up the pitch and play more advanced roles. It allows Cunha to tuck in if he wants to, not play quite so far on the left. He can tuck in to a closer position to Fernandes and to run in on support for Sesko. So I think that's the way I would play. I pretty much leave the rest of the team alone, apart from I thought Dalot was our worst performer last week, and I think he's been underperforming for a few weeks now. So the fact that Mazraoui apparently is now fit in the squad, can play, I think I would play Mazraoui as a right back. So my team would be Lamens, Mazraoui, Maguire, Martinez and Dorgu across the back, Mainoo and Casemiro as the defensive midfielders, Cunha, Fernandes and Mbeumo as the attacking midfielders, and Sesko up front. Plenty of options for substitutes in the second half and the latter stages of the game. As I said, I'd certainly bring Diallo on. I certainly think that there'd be a role for probably at some stage or other, maybe bringing Shaw on for Dorgu, particularly if we've got a lead to defend. That would certainly be an option. But that's the team I would play. But as I said, I don't think it is going to be the team that gets played. I think Carrick is very likely to play exactly the same team as he played last week. The only change I think he might even contemplate making is finding a way to bring Sesko into the team. But who he drops to make way for Sesko, I think it's Diallo that gets dropped. Ahmad, I think, is the player that gets dropped. It's tough on him, but I think he's the player that gets dropped if Carrick wants to play Sesko from the start. Anyway, it'll be fascinating to see what team is selected for tomorrow and the tactics it employs. Will it play in exactly the same way as it did against City, or will we be even more compact, more deeper? I certainly hope that we're a lot more physical than we were in the previous in the two games against Arsenal last season, and we have to protect Lamens. Absolutely have to. You know, if a player gets into Lamens' face, somebody there's got to take him out. You know, and perhaps having Martinez. Sorry, by the way, I've got Martinez and Maguire in the wrong positions there. I'll just swap those around because I fully expect Martinez in particular to get in there, and Sesko might be also doing that job. We certainly need protection for our goalkeeper tomorrow. Anyway, absolutely can't wait for tomorrow. Just looking forward to the game so much. If you like what I do on this channel, if you like the video today, remember to smash a like. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow the subscription numbers. If you think that somebody you know would enjoy the kind of work that I do on this channel, please let them know about the channel. Try and persuade them to subscribe too. If you want to donate to the channel, please do so. I've set up a Ko-fi account. The link to that is in the description. Also, please sign up for my X account. I showed you it just a few moments ago. Very few followers on X at the moment. If you follow me on YouTube, please follow me on X too. That would really, really help. And I do post every day on X. So that's it for now. See you tomorrow. I'll do a post-game video tomorrow where we can talk about the result and what happened. That should be... I can't wait for that. Let's see how that goes. But until then, remember to always be positively united.